So my name is Cyril. I come from Geneva, where we are now. And first of all, I'm a musician. And I've played for like several years in Microcosm. We've toured a lot all around for years and years. And since 2 years and a half, we've stopped playing for a while or forever, we don't know. And 3 years, I mean, almost all the period of Microcosm, we had built up a record label, which was called Mikrokosmos. And 3 years ago, more or less at the same time we were stopping touring, I've opened a record store called Bongo Joe, where we are now. And the selection is very eclectic. It's like all kind of style. It's like not a huge place, so we cannot have like all the music that was produced for sure. But the idea is proposing a selection of what we like the most in every style. And it's a place where we organize shows in store, conferences, since 3 years. And I'm taking care a lot of this now, and the new label that has the same name as the store, so it's the Bongo Joe label. And the same line as before is like just like music that really stunned me, I really love, and I don't care about when it was produced, if it's from the past, from now, if it's from Nicaragua or Geneva. It's like anything that I think other people should listen to and enjoy listening. Yeah, a special relation to the album, a special relation to the first label that released that. It's Arhuli, which is like an old label from like California, but this guy is a kind of hero for all the old folk and blues music from United States, and it had been reissued. So this guy who ran this label, he recorded in the streets. This guy, like George Coleman, he went and he was stunned by the quality of his music and the specificity of it. And then there is one label that changed my life called Mississippi Records, based in Portland, Oregon. The owner of this label became a close friend of mine. We released like co-released stuff together, yeah, this album was one of the things that they made me discover, you know. So and there is this like black guy from like Houston, Texas, who like, with the money he made in the streets, he was proud of having sent his kids to university in the United States. And the music is so unique and so personal, and I thought this is exactly my way of doing things. So let's borrow the name. And Eric from Mississippi Records, when he learned that the store was about to be called Bongo Joe, he told me, "Hey, Cyril, I know the relatives of George Coleman. He passed, but I'm gonna send please send me a picture, and I'm gonna send it to the George Coleman family, and they're gonna be super proud of this, you know." So that's what we did. You know? The story behind is quite funny. So I'm living in the building of the store, and when we were touring really a lot, here there was an old hairdresser, like that was like cutting hairs of old ladies, and with my wife, we fell in love with the space, and so we were flying for a Microcosm tour to Canada one more time, and I thought, okay, I never sleep in a plane, never, I'm not able to do this. So instead of watching like on a super small screen, bad, like a blockbuster, US blockbuster, I'm gonna write a long letter to the owner of the building, I don't know, and saying like, I don't know, like throwing a message in the bottle, you know, at the sea. And so I wrote a huge thing, and when we were back from the tour, I sent it to the owner of the building, and I said, okay, the day the hairdresser leave, I have a project, and it was like really wide, like selling vegetables as records, and like the idea was not fixed. And I thought this guy would never answer, and he answered like a week after saying, yeah, that's great, so I'll tell you. And I was, what? And then I thought it would be for my like old days, and a year after having received this positive answer, he said, okay, this is yours now. And I was like, fuck, it's so early in my life to do this, and I was not prepared at all. But then it's like the day you learn you're gonna be a father, there is something that's gonna change forever, and you're not prepared, but you're gonna learn while doing. So that's how we opened the store. It was quite empty. There was like just a few shelves, and all the labels I used to exchange record with, and in 3 years, I don't know, like the number of records has been multiplied by 100. I don't know. So it's really cool because it's more and more record store. That's what we want, and there is more and more people involved in it. It's a Verein association, and it's a really great human, social adventure. I think with time my ears opened so wide. I couldn't say now like what are the parameters. How do you say this? Like to feature on the labels, a catalog. Sometimes I feel that I'm a cursed person because I like too many styles, and I think it would be easier if I was focused on like less music styles or less eras, periods of recording, and I don't know, like the people like working with me at the store made me also like discover new music, new like I was not listening almost at all to 80s music, and now I'm listening to 80s music, which is really back in every music style, from rock and roll to jazz to anything. And I thought I would never like release something from the 80s, but we're gonna do it, soon. And so it's just like I listen usually like any person that sends me music, I just listen to it. I don't judge before listening, and then it can sound anything. There must be a strong personality behind the music I'm listening to, and something surprising, I guess. So I would say, honestly, it's too much. But then, before I was touring a lot, and we were running the label just by 2 persons, touring together, etc., and it was a lot. And now what's cool is I'm surrounded by more people. Having the store means like there's a lot of hands, helping, etc. And the other thing is when I've started a new label, the Bongo Joe label, I thought, okay, now it's starting from the scratch. But I had a lot of projects like prepared for Moshkone, and when we decided, okay, let's stop Moshkone, I had already so many projects going on, so I've just changed the name behind the cover. And then what happened is we released like a record per month for a year, and I thought, okay, next year it's gonna be more quiet because we've done a lot. And the thing is, we had so many good response of what we were releasing. It brought a lot of interesting music to us, like a lot of artists saying, hey, I love your catalog, please listen to this. And so this year it's gonna be the same, or even like more records. So I think we have to handle it and being proud of it, and just maybe make it grow bigger, rather than make it slower, because I think there is a lot of good stuff that we have in our hands now. So let's go for it. I've always been super curious about music, and I think it's what I feel blessed about my passion for this, because it will never end. And each time you discover an artist from today or the past, you always like open a new door, and behind the door there are like 1,000 doors, etc. So if you like to dig deeper in the influences of a band you like or a music style, you'll always find something you feel that this has to be listened by more people. So for example, like all Peters or anything from the Reunion Island, from the Indian Ocean, I'm linked strongly with a guy I love, who's really passionate by this music, and he traveled like so many times there, and like for example, Alan Peters, I contacted directly her daughter, and first they were a bit surprised that we were asking to repress a vinyl. I mean, not repress, because press, there was never like ever, those songs never had been pressed on vinyl. And on the Saul Sega compilation, this was, I mean, I hadn't had the chance nor the time to go there, but this friend went there and found like all the old musicians shaking hands, giving them money, taking a picture, and this music, I'm really super proud, particularly of this Saul Sega Sa compilation, because this music was not available for the people that made it, you know. So what we've done a CD, we've done an LP, we've done the digital, we worked on remastering, cleaning all the, it was like the tapes didn't exist anymore, so we only have like all 7 inches. And like people from 50, 60 years old on the islands wrote to us after we had released the compilation saying, I'm so glad because we couldn't hear this music anymore, and it's our music. And from my small Swiss country, small Geneva town, small Bongo Joe record store, I felt like, wow, I've done a work of, like historical work of memory for a whole bunch of people, you know? Like, and I felt really like, wow, this is important. And so yeah, how I come to, like, music comes to me because I'm curious about. And at the store now, a lot of people bring us like old stuff, and sometimes people come and say, hey, I know you've got a label, you should listen to this. So it's organic, not organic, yeah, it's up, how to say it? Oh, I don't know how to say this. It's happening, you know. From what I like and I know, and from I will discover, and sometimes there is, you feel like this is important, and you go for it. The best album, my top 1 album like ever is like one of the first album from Dr. John, which is called Gris-Gris. And it's my top number 1 like since 15 years, and it's not changing. I'm listening to it like quite often, and but it's like it was released on the major, you know. So I'll never be able to like reissue this because like they take care of it. But this would be like, I would be super proud, you know, like, hey, this is the Gris-Gris Bongo Joe version of Dr. John, and so. Yeah, I'd love to do this one, but it's not obscure at all, you know. But it's like I like it so much. I'd be proud to be, you know, linked to this. He's a mysterious guy. So it's a friend of mine from Sweden who sent me the records. I mean the recordings. And he told me, what do you think about this? And I said, oh, that's unbelievable. We have to like issue this on vinyl. And so far, like the Isaac, I had never met him, but my friend was like dealing with him. And so we organize, I'm involved now in a festival in Geneva, small, that happens every December. It was run for 10 years by Vincent, who's one of my label mates, and who's behind Orchestre Tout-Puissant Marcel Duchamp and Hypercult. Well, like that's on the label as well. And the festival is called Phase Z. And every year there is another like letter from the alphabet. So there's gonna be like 25 editions. It started from Phase B to Phase Z. And so we thought, okay, now we do the festival together, and every year we like we bring and show like the bands we've released during the year on the label. And so I wrote to Isaac. I said, hey, that's good. I mean, let's meet and come and do the choir, like bring your choir and do it. And he said, I don't have any choir. I was like traveling in Mexico, and I found some people there, and I mean, we're not a band, we're not the choir, so I just brought my composition and I arranged the stuff. So I said, like, what should we do? He said, I don't know. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna organize a choir here, and you come and you direct it. And that's what we've done. Really? And yeah, and so he came like a week before the festival, and I spent like weeks and weeks to find like 25 persons that were all like super motivated because they loved the songs, and then Isaac came and magic happened, and that was really I was so glad we could like reproduce like live this recording, and it was a great moment. And we met. I spent a week with Isaac, so now I know this guy, and I know he's not as mysterious as I used to think. But still, he's a strange bird. Honest John's Mississippi Records, Voodoo Rhythm from Bitman. It's all like labels that. You know, like older than mine, and it's like the label that gave me the envy of doing it, you know, and like launching myself in like this independent record industry, you know, and so when we were touring with Mamarasin, we were quite often in London, so we started the relation like being customers there, and more like, you know, we could bring personally the records, the first release on the Moshkone label to them, and finally we became friends, and yeah, I always told them like, it's because of your work that I'm doing what I'm doing, you know, you have to know this. And so, yeah, I'm super proud about this, and there is something logic also to me, like that it makes sense, you know. So I'm glad they're supporting us a lot. Yeah, we put a lot of love in it. You're right, and it's a kind of struggle because since now years and years. I realize I'm not fed up of doing this, and for almost no money, you know, because we do records that cost a lot to produce, and we don't sell them too expensive. We don't want to, and I wish there was, you know, like money from the federal Switzerland that could go to a label like mine, but it doesn't really exist. So we still like just go our way, you know, and like DIY. 100% and being proud of what we do, you know, and just like loving doing it, and that's the most important to me. Yeah, I don't have to complain about like asking myself what I want to do in my life. I know I have a way too much work, you know, and that's cool. I mean, I'm blessed for this, and on the other hand, it's too much work all the time, but it's good work, you know. And what I like is, and what we wanted also when we opened the store was, we want to talk about music, you know. We want to enjoy, like, you know, being involved in this love of music, and I didn't want. That's why we've opened also. We are a small cafe. because we didn't want just having you know, second-hand records, like expensive ones, and having all the day to talk about like the value of the records. What I want to do is like talk about what's on the record, you know? And I think you can feel it when you're at the store that we're that kind of person. So.